So it's been a minute. We got a lot of IFA news to jump across, a lot of draft picks, a lot of prospects, but more like entertaining is DJ Ukulele getting drafted to Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Not more signed than getting drafted, but they got DJ Ukulele announced on the squad. I don't know if that's real or not. Alabama Beavers got a few gems. Tampa Bay Tornadoes also got a few gems in this draft as well. Ironman, all these teams got gems, and I think that gets drive. The UFL starts in exactly 2 days from the time I'm recording this. We got some things to dive into with that. And there's a football landscape. So we're talking football, IFA Newsroom. Hell with that. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, X/Twitter, everywhere. We're everywhere right now. So we're trying to accept Podbeam. Well, actually, no, I'm Podbeam. We're everywhere. Everywhere. So sit back, listen, enjoy, and we're going to talk some football. I do want to get into this Trey Lance news. Now, Trey Lance, if you were unaware, which means probably could have been unaware, but the Saskatchewan Roughriders have added Trey Lance to their negotiation list. The former FCS star quarterback, after a couple of flamed out seasons in San Francisco and 2 seasons in Dallas where he didn't really do anything, now finds himself over playing football again. Might find himself playing football in the CFL. Now, one thing that was said is, "Oh, play the UFL is the next spot," and not right now. Now, if he played in Saskatchewan, he'd probably be announced a starter, or he might compete with Trevor Harris. I don't know. What I do know is he still can make a NFL team. He could still play in the NFL. I think that as a backup, he's high quality. I think he could compete as a starter. I'm saying that to be brutally honest. I think Trey Lance could be produced as a starter. But the one thing that did catch my eyes was his agent wants him to compete. Like, that's what he's trying to fitch out or trying to get a spot to compete instead of just. I mean, he could obviously be a backup. I mean, stated it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. He could be a backup. He could be a quarterback 3 as well. But the one thing is, he wants to be a starter. Like, he wants to compete as a starter or get a chance as a starter. So that's interesting. That's an interesting like landscape or interesting way to look at it, because we obviously know like he's talented and he's capable. But I feel like that's something to touch up upon. I might be covering some more CFL news come later. But for now, that's so we're exactly 1 to 2 days away. I mean, depending on when this episode comes out. But the Houston Roughnecks take on the St. Louis Battlehawks at TDECU Stadium. What do I expect to see? Fireworks. I don't know. First game of Max Duggan at the helm. Anthony Brown has just been announced as a starter for the Houston Roughnecks, so I like to see that one. As well, inside of a little bit of a mix, DC takes on Birmingham, San Antonio takes on Arlington, and Memphis takes on the Michigan Panthers. Starting quarterbacks have not really been announced for some teams. Kellen Mond will be taking the reins over in San Antonio. There's going to be a expected split between Danny Etling and Bryce Perkins. We already know who the starter in DC is. We already know the starter in Arlington already is. So for the other teams, it's going to be 2 quarterback rotations for now. Now, just a month and a half before training camp kicks off, the International Football Alliance announced Hugo Cruz as head of officiating towards the league, which means he decided to bring some like standard towards officiating. And this is nice. This is really nice. So the draft was at Huntsville, Alabama, March 21st. It was supposed to originally be planned for March 21st, 22nd. A little 2-day, like, a little mini 2-day event, okay? A lot of players were drafted, 36 to be exact. Now, some of these players already played, or actually not played, were already signed to the teams they were drafted to previously. But I think it was interesting that this draft had happened. Now, the Alabama Beavers kicked it off because they were hosting the event, and they took Naheem Hossein, defensive back. Very nice one. But the next one was the one that surprised me the most. That got me jumping up as I heard it was announced. And that's quarterback DeAndre Boreal with the 2nd pick. Boreal spent time with the Green Bay Packers and will really be a like vital option for the team. Next at O-lineman for the Ohio Valley Ironmen, I should say, Trey Johnson was selected, and I was kind of like, wasn't he already like signed to the team? And a few more picks go through: Henry Kellogg for the Tornadoes, Tyon Fleet Davis for the Dallas Pioneers. That was a Pioneers like prize pick. Like they took a lot of like pride in that pick. And then Alex Heel was also drafted as well. Jordan Stenhouse coming in second pick in the second round. Pretty interesting. Shannon Brooks jumped out to me considering that the Cavaliers already have a handful of running backs, and adding Shannon Brooks to that mix means they might not be committed to them as well, or there's still a competition. Chance Williams selected by the Ohio Valley Ironmen, Maurice Woodyard, wide receiver to the Tulare Rebellion, Reggie Anderson, wide receiver to the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, and then the Alabama Beavers pick that you should look at in the landscape. Just an hour before his first AF1 game with the Albany Firebirds against the Southwest Kansas Storm, Dejon Warren was drafted to the Alabama Beavers. I've spoken with Shane Anderson about it, and Anderson is certain that Warren will play, and it's looking like Dejon Warren will play. And it's interesting because this is 1 hour before he plays. He's checking to see if he's going to get drafted. Like, I posted about it. And seconds later, he sees it. He likes it. Just a few seconds about it. Tavion Devers, defensive lineman, or mainly defensive end out of Minnesota, went to the Ohio Valley Ironmen. There were 2 quarterbacks taken. I didn't think there was going to be a single quarterback taken, but Matthew Considine, quarterback, drafted to the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Now, this is interesting because DJ Ugalele was announced as a signing, was announced to be signed just 20 minutes later. And then, of course, DeAndre Borio. I wasn't expecting either of these guys. And they have also announced Corey Curtis as a camp invite, as I had predicted, because he was throwing to receivers just a few hours before. Not a few hours, a few weeks, not my bad. A few weeks before he had signed. And then Nishawn Anderson to Texas Pioneers. Sergio Pimentel, offensive lineman, defensive end, taken to the Dallas Pioneers. Tawan Williams was drafted by the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, a linebacker in the fourth round. Tyrone Griffin in the fourth round as well, 21st pick to the Cavaliers. Woohoo! Josh Hawley, just a few names: Trinante Hill, Ronald Withers, Evan Cooper, Gary Borge Jr. was signed with the Alabama Beavers and then signed with the Rebellion just a little bit after. Now he's drafted, it's super, super, like, I didn't expect that. Gary Fleming, taking Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Fleming, very, very talented wide receiver, has a lot of experience playing football at any level. Caleb Wells, then taken. Caleb Wells is not the same Caleb Wells in the UFL. Daniel Trejo was the one that got me also jumping up because I was like, I did not think he'd actually get drafted. I thought this would be more of like a fill the gap, but they took some stars in this draft. Corey Gamage, drafted by the Tornadoes as well, and Gamage was interesting because I swear he signed with the Tornadoes. Like, he signed with the Tornadoes months ago, and now he's getting drafted. This is interesting. Aaron Dilworth selected by the Caballeros. Dilworth also, I was aware he had signed with the Caballeros, but now he gets drafted. Tijon Alston, selected by the Alabama Beavers, and that was the final pick of the draft. Now, what confused me is, like, some of these players had actually, like, signed before or previously to this, and the fact that they're getting drafted it's kind of alarming. It's kind of alarming. But Matthew Considine and DeAndre Boreal are the only quarterbacks taken in this draft. A handful of running backs, handful of receivers, handful of defensive backs. Exactly how it should look in one special teams player. Exactly how it should look out and play out. Now, there are also signings that had happened, as I mentioned before, signings that happened after the draft, and we're talking about DJ Ugalele, which this allegedly makes it to 4 players in that quarterback room. Now, I did not think that N'Kosi Perry was going to be vocal about his Tampa Bay Tornadoes signing, but he has, and he says he's going to go with them to camp and be a starter. Now, what, like, confuses me is, like, I didn't see this coming. I did not. I don't think anybody saw. I don't even think he's aware. I mean, to be honest, I don't think that he's aware that he signed with Tampa Bay Tornadoes. I broke the news, and this news is kind of going viral right now. I don't think he's aware that he's with the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Is DCU gonna come out week 1? No, I doubt that. Cozy Perry, he's gonna compete with if he is, he's gonna compete with Cozy Perry, Corey Curtis, and the other guy they drafted. I don't remember what his name is. But they're going to compete with each other. That's going to be that's a dead truth and dead realities. They all have to compete with each other. This isn't a guaranteed given job. I know for a fact that before the Baltimore Lightning folded, Corey Curtis was the guy. He was the guy. Hey, we're bringing this Corey Curtis guy on, which interesting. I know. But we're gonna bring this Corey Curtis guy on. He's gonna be the starter, and he's gonna elevate this team or try to elevate this team. And now I'm like, and every other team's not doing that. I know that Alabama, they're going to compete with their, starting job. It's happening in Dallas. It's happening in San Antonio. It's happening not in Ohio. Ohio has their guys. It's happening in Chillara. It's happening in, Tampa Bay, of course. But it doesn't happen in Ohio. Another interesting one is who's going to back up James Franklin if, like I say, he goes down with the injury. Because I could see that happens normal. The starter that they, announce. Let's say he's 34 years old as well. He's in his 30s. Something might not, come off right. He might get injured. It happens. Or he just may struggle. It happens. But who's going to come in and be that support? Now, I was predicting somebody like Dalton Snead, Isaac Harker. Dalton Snead just signed or re-signed with the Arizona Rattlers. So it's not looking like that. It's looking like the Rattlers have their guy come for another season. Depending on where Drew Powell even may end up, we could also see him in maybe the IFA. I don't know. But Cozy Perry's interesting because he's playing overseas. And this seems like he's dedicated to Tampa Bay. At first, I was speculative because I don't believe it. Now it looks like he's 100% committed, and it looks like he's going to be playing in Tampa Bay. So that's enough for the IFA's landscape of stuff. Of course, there are a few more signings that I will get to in probably another episode. But we got the UFL kicking off this weekend, and boy, oh boy, do we have some sit-em and stardoms. This is going to be a little late, but we got something. We really do got something. We got some sim stardoms. All right. Heading into week 1, UFO fantasy, okay? We got some stardoms. No situms probably might not actually happen because I don't know. But I feel confident in some players. One is quarterback Luis Perez. I feel confident in Luis. I don't feel confident in any other starting quarterback announced yet. But I do feel confident in Luis Perez. A lot of returning pieces. Returning backfield, returning coaching, second year. I think he should look good. At running back, I got Jacob Sailors against the Roughnecks. He's going to get a ton of carries. Give me Chris Rowland this weekend against the Stallions as a stardom. And I like Day Hunter as well against the Brahmas. Because, hey, he's got a whole offseason. He's got that running back 1 role kind of wrapped up. And plus, a lot of receiving volume. And receiving passes from Anthony Brown, considering the pass game might not be a factor. Give me Kirk Merritt, because I really, really do like that one. Receiving also, give me Justin Hall. Justin Hall is a phenomenal player. I feel like no matter who's throwing the ball, Hall will provide. Not provide. How did I say that? Anyways, Hakeem Butler. Give me Hakeem Butler at the start. Give me John Trey Kirkland as well. I think that Kellen Mond and Kirkland can really, really connect something. Sayosi Mariner versus the Showboats. Sayosi's good. If it's Bryce Perkins throwing the ball, no problem producing. Danny Elling throwing the ball, no problem producing. And finally, Jonathan Adams, some inaugural news to go around for some player rankings, or mainly sit-em and stardoms. No power rankings. I'm not doing power rankings. But that'll wrap it up for this last episode. That'll wrap it up for sit-em and stardoms. Only got stardoms this week. This is interesting, but coming in this week, I got not a lot of hope. I know that I'm aware of everybody seeing the Reggie Barlow news, and this one kind of has me wrapped around. I don't like hearing this news. Yeah, Barlow's a good head coach. Yes, I will never argue against that. Barlow's a great head coach. Ken Wisenhunt is also a good head coach as well, because Ken Wisenhunt and both Reggie Barlow have resigned as head coaches. This comes as a complete shock because the season's right there. It's like a grasp away. Now, of course, Whisenhunt's stepping away from football, and Barlow is pursuing a Tennessee State coaching job, and I'm like, bro, I don't know. I don't. I don't know what to feel about this. I don't like this. I don't like this, of course, because the season's right there. Of course, their interims were announced. Blah blah blah. And this team will move on just fine. I'm pretty sure this was prepared for, and this was like probably discussed. This was definitely discussed. I know that these teams are prepared for this, so it's not like they're gonna come like overwhelmed or underwhelmed or whatever. This is like might move on just fine. But I don't know why you do this right before the season starts. I don't know why right before the season starts you do this. Of course, Memphis hasn't even announced a starting quarterback, and I don't even think that's gonna happen. DC has George Hamill returning, and I don't know if Hamill's even gonna produce. That receiving core is looking decent, but I don't even know if they're gonna produce. Of course, Lynn Bowden was released, quite a few other guys, and David Davis did not come back because he's physically unable to perform. So without David Davis in the mix, you got John Adams looking great, but I don't know why. Of course, Tennessee State, oh, looks like such a great job. It's open, it's what he wants, and he takes the HBCU coach. It's what he takes it, but this close? I don't, I don't know what to say. I'm obviously speechless with this, but that'll do it for